And here we go. 0 turns. Let's do this. Now, in order to make this possible, every single turn that you take counts. Because how it works, Noctis uses his LD. He puts a buff on your whole team for 2 turns. And with that buff, you just won't consume turn count. But if he uses the skill, that counts as a turn. Unless you burst first and use it in this sequence, then the burst sequence will end without the turn. Also, I think it's set up a little bit differently on Global than it was for JP, because I'd seen people on JP just go right in with the LD, and then when they get out of this, they're still not taking turns. But I tried that, and it didn't work. So what I opted to do was just save my LD for the very last skill before he does that final burst move. And then we were able to prolong the LD buff for everybody involved. So I don't know if that's going to get fixed, or I don't know if that's just the way it always was and I'm just misunderstanding something, but that was what I had to do to make this possible. As you can see right there, waiting till the last possible second. And you'll see a few times in this, I just stop and don't press anything, which is rare for me. I usually kind of just go in guns blazing, but I wanted to pull this off, and in order to do it, like I said, every move you make counts because you cannot lose that buff. And without the use of another Noctis, it's not possible to do. It's just not going to happen. It's not just, you bring your Noctis and you get no turns. No, it's a little bit more complicated than that. You need another Noctis too, and that Noctis needs his burst. At least for this stage. Maybe there's other stages where that isn't as crucial, but here you just gotta go in with as much damage as possible. You need that extra set of follow-up attacks from your friend support Noctis. Otherwise, you're not getting 0 turns. It's just not gonna happen. And there's certain characters that don't really lend itself well to this. That would be characters that just take a bunch of consecutive turns all at once. They'll wear out the buff right away. So somebody like Alti would not be good for this. Somebody like Charlotta is not good for this. Sazh is perfect for it, because even if that buff runs out, you can just hit attack boost and you won't be using turns anyways. Ramza, I would imagine, would be pretty good for this too. You know, characters like that. Machina, you might have to be careful, because he just kind of goes over and over and over again. And he will wear out the buff. And you can't extend it either. I know a lot of people have been asking about that. Sazh is not here for buff extension. He's here because he's a great support and because attack boost doesn't use turns. That's why he's here. Because, yeah, you'll see there's an instance at some point where my EX is up and I attack boost instead. That's because I had lost the buff at that point, and if I would have used the EX, that would have added to the turn count, which is the last thing I wanted to do. But we have a very good start so far. We just got to keep it up. And I do remember right here, I just stall for a while because I'm thinking about, okay, what do my buffs look like? What about my turns? And because Keiss, it's tricky with Keiss because, you know, you only get 2 turns of the buff and he's jumping around the turn order constantly. So he could just wear it out really fast, which means Noctis has to keep spamming LDs to get it back, and it would just go by too quick, and we probably wouldn't do it. So that's why I just, okay, hit the EX, slow down a minute, and we're all good. And I'm pretty sure we have to use it now. No, actually, I don't even remember. No, we're good. Yeah, Keiss had 1 turn left. So this way Keiss can attack, and then on Noctis' next turn, he can refresh this buff. And this goes without saying, but Noctis is, okay, everybody's comparing bursts. Everybody was talking about, like, okay, there's Squall, who is kind of underwhelming, and then we have Shantotto, who's surprisingly good, then we have Vaughn, who's great for single targets, but who's the best? I don't know. Now that Noctis is here, there's no contest at all. It's 100% him. Like, this is just ridiculous what he can do. See, right there, okay. Just use all the C65s now that the buff is worn out, so I can get all my launchers back and go right into the summon, because otherwise that would have added a turn. We had no choice. but to do this. And just go for big damage. We got the burst effect active, all good. I mean, it's about to be gone right after this, but that's okay. Looking back at this, I don't think I used Warp Strike a single time. We didn't really need to, though. In fact, if I would have, I don't think that we would have made it with the 0 turns. Because we needed as many launches as possible for damage, and we had to keep bringing the LD back up. And yeah, the 0 turns thing aside, like if you're a person who just doesn't care about that, and you're looking for good teammates alongside Noctis, Keiss is his best friend, 100%. Third slot, just any support really would be good. I mean, Sazh is great, Charlotta's great, Aphmau would be fantastic. Can't really go wrong with a setup like that. Like if you just go Noctis, Keiss, and a support that batteries, you're going to be in very good shape. And it just makes me wonder, when Lufinia hits, like how valid is all this going to be? Because I mean, Noctis is still used in JP to this day, and as far as I know, he has not gotten any upgrades at all since this event right here, this Odin. And he's still on top of the heap. And other characters, you know, they come and go. And this is all, okay, I'm only saying all this because I'm getting at the whole thing with Keiss, because I remember when Keiss came out, and everybody was really excited. Like, everybody was so happy. Like, this dude's so good. He's going to break the lid off of the game. He's awesome. He's Lufinia viable, which he is. I mean, I don't mean to talk shit. He definitely is. But there was another segment of people who thought that Keiss was being overhyped, because there was a lot of talk on there, like, that Keiss cheeses certain Lufinia fights. And I don't know about that. I'm looking at it, and it seems like I don't think he was overhyped at all. I mean, maybe there were some things that some people said about him that weren't necessarily true, but I mean, unless you're at a boss that's immune to being launched, I don't see Keiss being a bad pick in any situation. In fact, I'll take it a step further. If you're a person who has EX tokens and you're not sure who to spend your EX tokens on, and if you don't care about challenge quests and all that stuff, like you just want a character who's good, that's going to serve you well, if you have Noctis' full kit already and you don't have Keiss, just go get Keiss. Don't bother with this wait for his LD stuff. I mean, yes, you could wait months and months and months to get Keiss because you want to be efficient with your tickets and maybe get his LD along with his EX, but it's not like buying Keiss' EX right now wouldn't serve you well, because it 100% would, especially if you have Noctis. So that's all I have to say about that. I am very pro Keiss. Keiss was not overhyped. I'm very much in that camp. Like, the longer this has gone on, maybe that will change when Lufinia hits. But as of right now, like, this dude he's one of the best characters ever. And he just got, again, with Noctis, he just got even better. Team compositions. Some people say that, and they think it just means, like, 2 meta characters carrying 1 person. But, I mean, Noctis and Keiss, they're both just meta characters anyway. Pair them together, and it should be illegal. This should be banned. But it's fun. And for the record, I don't mean to tell people how to spend their resources and stuff. This is just one guy's opinion. Feel free to disagree. You do you. All good. We're just talking here. This is gonna be a good launch. Bam. How high did we get? Not bad. Okay, I expected a little more, but not bad. If we had some battery beforehand, it would have been even better. 400k easily. So he's in the red, we're still at 0. And this is the last turn of my friend Noctis. We gotta get this LD back on everyone. Okay, so my recommendation for friend support Noctis, if you're going for 0 turns, you start with the LD just to get the buff on everybody. Then you go for the burst to activate his follow-up attacks. LD again, then EX, then LD again. So it'd be LD, burst, EX, LD, EX. That is the proper rotation for a Noctis friend support, if you ask me. Because I think that if I would have done anything else in a different order, we would not have gotten the 0 turns here. And look, I'm actually in a situation where I wanted to swap Sazh, but it actually worked out that I didn't, because Keiss was in there. He was able to keep launches going for the other 2 Noctises. We just so happened to put Keiss's buff on Sazh while we were in the summon before we swapped him for that Noctis, so that means Sazh could come right back in and just launch immediately. And this is, now I'm surprised because I didn't realize that my Noctis still had 2 of these. We were relying on the LD buff provided by the friend support Noctis, meaning I was able to save, which worked out perfectly. Okay, I remember this. Alright. I wanted to have the plus ready. So everybody's refreshed. Looking at that, maybe I should have... It doesn't matter. I got 0 turns. Why am I self-analyzing? It worked out fine. I gotta stop being so critical of myself. Alright, here we go. But this, okay, yeah, this is an instance coming up where, okay, so now Noctis is out of LDs, so it's now or never if we're gonna do this. So we get this launch. I know the EX is up, but Keiss was right behind Noctis, and we're out of hero support, so we have to take advantage of this launch while we can. It was the only opportunity to do so. Actually, that's not true, because he's about to Selkie throw and jump behind Noctis again. Either way, if I were to use that EX right now, we would have added to the turn count. That was it right there. So everyone just lost the buff. Noctis has 1 turn left on it. It was at the last possible second we got it. 0. And there we go. Now for Challenge Quest, I still have to go build Paladin Cecil and get Fran up to date. So until then, hope you enjoyed, and thank you for watching.